They laughed. The Galactic Council laughed. Ambassadors with shimmering scales slapped their claws together. Ministers with jeweled tendrils curled them in amusement. Admirals, clad in armor that had never known defeat, sneered openly, teeth flashing like polished blades. They all laughed at the warning that spoke of humans. One counselor, oldest of them all, delivered it in a trembling voice. Do not provoke the species of Soul 3. Do not invade, do not enslave, do not fight, for their nature is not like ours. They were born on a world that never wished them to exist, and yet they rose. To underestimate them is not to risk their survival. It is to forfeit your own. Silence had lingered for a heartbeat. Then the chamber erupted in hilarity. Primitive bipeds. Barely spacefaring. A death world accident given too much credit. The laughter drowned the warning. And so the fate of empires was sealed. The Drivak Empire was vast. Their fleets blotted out stars. Generations of conquest had made them arrogant, conquering new systems as one steps on dry leaves. When explorers stumbled across the human colony called New Horizon, the Drivak Council saw only profits. They didn't send diplomats. They sent warships. The approach was simple. Surround the planet, disrupt communications, deploy shock troops. It had worked on 100 worlds. Why not here? But on New Horizon, things did not go as expected. The first landings met resistance, unexpectedly fierce. Farming equipment was turned into weapons. Miners rigged explosives from fuel stores. Children carried messages through tunnels while adults staged guerrilla warfare as though they studied it for centuries. The Drivak chuckled at the defiance. They had numbers, fleets, plasma cannons the size of towers. This resistance wouldn't last a week. Why should it? But a week passed, then 2, then a month, and then, suddenly, entire warships were vanishing. How? Surveillance revealed humans had hacked Drivak controls, using repurposed communication satellites. Farmers, not soldiers, were outthinking the Empire's grandest military minds. The reports reached the Galactic Council. At first, they thought they were exaggerated. Then the panic began. How have they adapted our weapons so fast? Why do they fight harder after losing entire cities? What kind of species uses grief as fuel for innovation? No one had answers. Only one counselor, the old one, sat in silence and whispered, "I warned you." The Drivak were furious, but they couldn't afford to lose face. So they escalated. If the colonies resisted, they would strike at the heart. Earth itself. Massive fleets descended. Orbitals unleashed hellfire. Cities burned in crimson light. By every calculation of war, humanity should have fallen in weeks. But something stranger happened. Humanity didn't fall. They adapted. Scientists in underground bunkers repurposed particle accelerators into planetary defense cannons. Hackers rewired alien code in weeks that had taken empires centuries. Civilians became militias. Every disaster that shattered morale in other species only made humans angrier, smarter, and more united. The Drivak soon realized they weren't fighting soldiers. They were fighting an entire species. But even then, humanity teetered on the edge of collapse. A solar storm disabled most of Earth's defenses. Enemy ships breached the atmosphere. Hope seemed lost when a battered fleet emerged from the clouds, led by an ancient vessel. The Exodus. With the help of alien technology recovered from sunken ships, humanity had built a weapon of terrible power, a beacon in the sky that called upon a forgotten past. In the void, where alien empires once thrived. The Drivaks watched, stunned, as the beacon activated, and a colossal ship materialized, a vessel from a time before memory, a relic of the universe's dawn. Yet it stirred with power. It was ancient, yes, but also alive. The Drivak hadn't just invaded a planet. They had awakened a legend. With a roar that shook the system, the Colossus came alive. Humanity had won the right to exist. But would that be enough? Now, under the banner of a reborn legend, humanity struck back, an unstoppable force reclaiming its birthright among the stars. Their fury knew no bounds, but there were more victims than just the Drivak. Throughout the galaxy, entire civilizations learned too late that anger can be a powerful ally and a terrible master. If you enjoyed this story, check out others in the series. They explore how civilizations rise from the ashes of destruction and uncover the secrets of an age-old conflict. Discover the legacy of an extinct alien race and the prophecy surrounding a forgotten artifact. Uncover the truth behind a universe-ending event and the last survivor's desperate gamble, and witness the emergence of a new hero who must choose between an uncertain future with humans or a perilous path to revive an ancient civilization. What will he decide, and how will it change the fate of the galaxy? Dive into thrilling adventures that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss out on the epic tales waiting for you. In the aftermath of the Drivak War, humanity stood amidst the ruins of its past, grappling with profound questions about their newfound place in the universe. As the dust settled, three figures emerged, each embodying different facets of humanity's post-war existence. They were a scientist, a soldier, and a historian, united by their determination to understand the war's impact and chart their species' future. Their journey led them to the heart of the cosmos, to the enigmatic citadel of the ancients, a testament to a bygone era when countless alien races thrived. Within the citadel's silent halls, they uncovered fragments of a long-forgotten prophecy, an ancient prediction that foretold the return of a mythical being, a harbinger of either salvation or annihilation. As they deciphered the cryptic verses, a startling revelation emerged. The prophecy pointed towards none other than the soldier, marking him as the key to humanity's destiny. Faced with this life-altering revelation, the soldier grappled with the weight of his newfound significance. Torn between duty and the profound implications of the prophecy, he found solace in the wisdom of the scientist and the insights of the historian. Together, they embarked on a perilous quest to unravel the truth behind the soldier's connection to the prophecy. Their expedition took them across the galaxy, traversing uncharted territories and confronting remnants of the once great civilizations that had fallen victim to the Citadel's enigmatic influence. Through these perilous trials, the trio forged an unbreakable bond, their friendship deepening amidst the backdrop of an unfolding cosmic drama. Their quest was fraught with peril, forcing them to confront not only external threats but also the darkest recesses of their own souls. As they ventured deeper into the mysteries of the prophecy, they realized that the fate of humanity rested precariously on their shoulders. With each step closer to the truth, the stakes grew higher, the danger intensified, and the weight of their responsibility threatened to consume them. But despite the mounting challenges, their resolve only strengthened. Driven by a shared sense of purpose, they pressed forward, determined to fulfill their destinies and secure the fate of their species. Their journey was a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, their courage, resilience, and unwavering determination to forge a path towards an uncertain future. And what will he choose? And how will it change the fate of the galaxy? Dive into thrilling adventures that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss out on the epic tales waiting for you. Welcome back, friends. Today, we're going to talk about a powerful galactic civilization that once laughed at a warning and then paid a terrible price for it. Most likely, this story will be a little less familiar to you than others, because today we'll talk about the Drivak. This creature and this empire became famous thanks to the work of a British science fiction writer named Peter Hamilton. He used these predatory aliens in his Void trilogy. So let's start our story from there. So, the Drivak Empire. First of all, I want to say that despite being called an empire, the Drivak controlled not only this species, but also several others. In fact, they owned almost a quarter of the Milky Way. It turns out that the Drydoks actually enslaved entire star systems and bred some races as pets. Yes, like cats. By the way, the Drydoks looked a bit like lions, or rather like hyenas. Maybe you can imagine something between a lion and a hyena. Imagine such a predator and you get a Drydok. They are also often compared to crocodiles. This is not surprising, given that in addition to the external characteristics, the Drydoks were cold-blooded. What was the empire for them? As you can see, I call them an empire in quotation marks. In fact, the Union of the Drivak was nothing more than a bunch of mercenaries who united under one banner to plunder the galaxy. The Drydokish clans constantly waged war against each other. Even after uniting, they didn't stop doing this. They just directed their aggression at other civilizations. The Drydoks believed themselves to be superior to other species, and considered it their duty to rule over them. By the way, they really became quite successful in this endeavor. The Drivak mercenaries were led by 5 clan leaders. The union itself was called the Laughing Council. Why laughing? Well, here's the thing. The Drydoks were very proud of themselves and considered other life forms amusing. They often organized games in which they enslaved entire planets and watched how the locals struggled to free themselves from their chains. You can probably guess that the Drydoks got a lot of pleasure from this. For example, the Drydoks loved to laugh at human attempts to resist their enslavement. All members of the Laughing Council agreed with this point of view. But one of them, Drivak, stood out even among his own people because he really liked tormenting his victims before destroying them. He was known as the most cruel and bloodthirsty conqueror throughout the galaxy. Thrasher was addicted to hunting, and the hunt for him was not just a way to get food, but a whole ritual. He approached the hunt with all seriousness. In preparation for it, he would carefully examine his future victim, choosing the right time for the attack. After all, Thrasher's favorite thing was killing highly developed civilizations in their prime. That is why Thrasher was not satisfied to destroy just any colony. No, he wanted to destroy colonies with potential, colonies that could become a threat to the Laughing Council in the future. And this is exactly what happened during the siege of a human colony on the planet Sed. At the height of the siege came the counterstrike. Human fleets, patched together, awkward, using mismatched alien tech, launched assaults with terrifying creativity. They didn't follow predictable military doctrines. They didn't fight by the book, and that was precisely their weapon. Where the Drivak expected retreat, humans surged forward. Where they predicted cowardice, humans sacrificed. Where they tightened supply lines, humans turned starvation into new invention. One by one, Drivak battle groups were isolated, crippled, annihilated. Human guerrilla fleets spread like wildfire. Entire sectors collapsed. The predators became the prey. The empire that had laughed at the loudest screamed the loudest when it died. However, despite the fact that the humans won this war, this victory was not a cause for joy. Cities lay in ashes. Oceans boiled with wreckage. Billions mourned. The happy ending comes at a great price. However, humanity did not surrender. Amid the ruins, they rebuilt, brick by brick, circuit by circuit, dream by dream. And when everything was finally ready, they sent out a broadcast across the galaxy. We are not predators. We are survivors. And if survival requires it, we will become predators unlike anything you have ever known. The transmission ended. Silence followed. And that silence was more terrifying than the weapons that toppled an empire. And now I will tell you how this event shocked the entire galaxy. After humanity destroyed the Drydokish fleet, it seemed to many civilizations that their chance had come, the chance to take the place of the predators at the top of the food chain. But they were wrong. Other species were not ready for what they encountered next. The first to try their luck was the Concordat. Its inhabitants thought that the humans would be too busy restoring their home system to pay attention to what was happening around them. The Concordat was wrong. The second to try their luck was the Zakal Empire. Its army was 10 times larger than that of the Drivak when it attacked the humans. The Zakal Empire was also wrong. The third to try their luck was the Kukri Confederacy, the empire that actually assembled the Laughing Council. Their plan was simple. If the humans didn't belong to any alliance and weren't ruled by a single leader, then they could be easily defeated if each of the members of the alliance attacked them separately. But the Kukri were also wrong. All three alliances suffered defeats, and each subsequent one was even more crushing than the last. In the end, everyone understood that humanity was no longer the species that could be defeated. The Laughing Council might have been destroyed, but the galactic civilizations had no idea how strong the humans were. The council chamber, once so full of laughter, now sat in fearful quiet. Entire fleets of other empires upgraded their defenses. Admirals rewrote doctrines. Politicians whispered warnings. And all this was caused by the death of one empire, the empire that once laughed at the warning of a single counselor and then paid for it with its existence. The galaxy had learned in fire what one counselor had tried to say in words. These humans were different. They did not surrender. They did not break. They did not forget. And above all else, when cornered, humans did not simply survive. They evolved. They laughed at the council's warning, and they paid the price. Now the galaxy trembles at the mention of humanity. The galaxy has many predators, many empires, many conquerors, but there is only one truth every species now knows. Never underestimate humanity. Well, friends, our story about the Drivak Empire is over. To be honest, I don't blame them much. I mean, yes, they laughed at the warning and then paid the price for it. But sometimes you just can't predict the future. Let's just imagine for a moment that the protagonist of our story, Thrasher, didn't decide to destroy the human colony. He probably wouldn't know about the upcoming defeat of his empire, right? That's how it works in life. Sometimes events develop in such a way that you can't control them no matter how hard you try, and the Dry Dockish clan was definitely not an exception. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story, and if you want to see another story about humanity, then I invite you to watch this video. I think you'll like it. And that's all for today. See you soon.